Well, I guess we're live. I was waiting for the countdown. I guess we don't have one. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you today. Thank you for joining me. Beautiful, beautiful Wednesday here in Tennessee. And I love these kinds of days where the sun is shining, it's a little warmer out, the birds are singing. All is right with the world. I wish. So, if you're just joining me today, don't forget the drill. Please just sign in. Let me know where you're watching from. That would be a really great thing. And let me know where you're watching from. Let me know, exactly what you're doing today. Let me know any questions that you have. Got some great stuff coming up. Gary Hanson is here with us today from Fear Not, and love that band. And they've got some new stuff coming out. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. And my co host will be with me in just a little bit too. Phil Courtis, Sanctuary Australia, is here today with us. And Phil's got some interesting things to talk about as well. And we're just happy that you're here. And once again, let me know that you're here. If you would sign in, and it'd be great to see where people are watching from. Victoria, good morning to you. Good to see you today. So, again, folks, let me know where you're from as well. That's kind of fun to do. And Forrest is here from Lansing, Michigan. Michigan. The president was in Michigan last night. Interesting. Keeping the Air Force base open there. That's pretty cool. So I'm sure that the Michigan folks are glad to see that. Victoria's from New Mexico. We've got some great friends in New Mexico. Used to have a sanctuary there, and but still some great friends in that area. And always good to see New Mexico on the screen, folks. Once again, don't forget to sign in. Tell me where you're from. Um, and Emma says it's finally spring. She lives in Montana where it's cold, very cold. And so spring is a big deal, isn't it, Emma? The snow is gone. This will be a nice relief for you. You don't have to shovel snow for a while, for a couple more months anyway. Rick is here from Cherokee, North Carolina. Good to see you today. And Jonas, our good friend from Kenya, Africa, Sanctuary, Kenya. He says, always a pleasure tuning in on Wednesdays. Always good to see you here on Wednesdays, Jonas. Jonas is part of one of our Saturday shows called Worship at Full Volume, where some of the worship leaders from around the world get together and talk about, you guessed it, worship. And so that'll be coming up. And good Saturday shows. If you haven't discovered those yet, please do. We've got the Worship at Full Volume. We've got The Odd Couple is back, and it's a once a month live show. And then we've got Doug Van Pelt, the Heavens Metal podcast, live, great guests. And then I've got another show called Joy Story, and just people's good stories. And I love a good story. I know you do too. So those are the things that are coming. But again, this weekend, return for the live podcast, The Odd Couple. And the chief of police here, James Hembrick, and I will be doing this together as we have for many years. And excited to talk to him. A lot of things have changed in his life and in mine since we did the last podcast. So it'll be fun catching up. Be really fun catching up. So, folks, again, sign in. Let me know where you're from. Barry is good. Good to see you, my friend. It's uh, it's good morning, Pastor Bob and the Sanctuary fam. Good morning to you. Barry's a good friend of the ministries. Mike is here from Toledo. Plan to do yard work today. That's a nice idea. So I have a huge yard and I do none of it. I know. Jim Laverty, the bass player for Barron Cross, and our worship leader, he does the yards here too. So every once in a while I see him out on the mower taking care of this. Well, we don't mow the whole property, but it's 7.77 acres. I know. And we mow probably 2 acres of it. So that's a lot of work, but it's beautiful today. Brian Bennett, my old friend, is here from Walla Walla, Washington. Been friends for a long time. Good to see you, Brian. Great to see you. Let me know if you got the coffee that we sent you. So, good morning from Michigan, Daryl Anderson. And we got some good Michigan folks here today. Big day in Michigan, big evening in Michigan last night. So, that was pretty cool. I watched the live presentation at the Air Force Base there. It was very cool. Again, folks, sign in. Happy 4 years of the acoustic version of Taming Tongues. It's a good album. Well, who knew? I know. Havy, you're awesome. He doesn't miss a thing, by the way. And he rarely misses a festival or a concert or whatever. He's there. I see him in a lot of locations. Albert, good morning to you from Winnipeg, Canada. And Canada has a new prime minister. It's a new day in Canada. At least I hope so. And good to see you, Albert, as always. So, Bo Wikstrom is here from Bailey, Colorado. We've got some great friends in Colorado. Beautiful, beautiful place, and a great place to vacation, I think. I've been there many times on vacation. I worked in Colorado for a little bit at the Young Life Ranches, doing the jobs of program director and piano player and lots of things up there in Silver Springs and in Frontier Ranch and some of those properties. I forgot the names of all the places. Salida, I think it's right outside of there. But Colorado's a great place. Keith from Ohio. We're looking forward to being back in Ohio very soon. Don't forget, Sanctuary is celebrating their 40th anniversary. Our 40th anniversary. I'm talking like in third person for some reason. But Immortal Fest is coming up this summer. You don't want to miss it. We've got 2 of them going. The first one will be celebrating our 40-year anniversary. We got our worship team and our worship band that will be playing. I'll be speaking. And we got some of the old Sanctuary bands back on stage. Vengeance is one of those. And then, of course, we've got Fear Not and a few more that are actually from Sanctuary originally. And then, there's just all these great bands that we've played with and we've been part of for so long. Iron Wrath and Worldview and Chaotic Resemblance. I'm excited to have them back. Chaotic Resemblance is on a tour right now in Germany and in Denmark. And so if you are in either location, you might want to check that out. And then part 2 of Immortal Fest coming up the end of August. And some more great bands. I'm excited for that. Sacred Warrior, Bride, Les Carlson, Randy Stonehill will be there. The Protest, Incognoscent, Stricken. Yeah, just so many great bands and so many great memories. Neon Cross, Daniel Band. So plan now to be there, folks. We'd love to have you part of those great festivals. Speaking of great events, this weekend is our gathering here at Sanctuary. Saturday, we're having our gathering at 3 p.m. and our worship band will be playing, and we've got great food, barbecue this weekend. I'll be bringing a message from my heart, and we do this the first Saturday of every month, and it's a great time. So that's Saturday, and then Sunday. We continue Sunday, every Sunday. We have sanctuary and Sunday mornings at 10:30. This Sunday, one of our pastors, Todd Bowe, will be speaking. He's got some great things to talk about from his heart, and we're just excited for the weekend. We call Sunday 242 at the storehouse. Acts 242. Teach, meet, eat, pray. And that's what we do. So, folks, join us, plan on joining us. And all of our social medias are right here. Take your phone, zero in, click on that link there, and it'll take you to all of the sanctuary sites so you won't miss a thing. Well, I've got a great co host with me today. My good friend Phil Courtis is here. Phil, good morning. Uh-oh, and your mute button is on. So unmute yourself. Do you see where that's at? Sometimes this is a difficult thing to figure out. Right there, it says, okay, you should be good now. Let's see. Talk and let's see if we can hear you. No, we can't yet. So now he's muted again. John,
No, well,
there we go.
how's it going?
Good morning. Well, good evening.
Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. So it's after midnight there, isn't it, Phil?
Oh, well, yes, it is, but I've got a lot of hard work ahead of me, so yeah, I'm pretty much up all night at the moment, but it's totally worth it at the moment.
Yeah. Well, thank you for taking the time out. And
No worries.
Phil, it's always good to see you. There's some exciting things happening in your life right now. You are running for public office. It's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm running for the House of Representatives for the electorate of Casey, for the seat of Casey, for Parliament, and it is exciting. Already got my how to vote up and ready.
Oh, cool.
I've got quite blessed. I made it at the number one on the ballot. So,
That's a big deal.
yeah, at the moment we did the ballot draw, we had a lot of the parties come, and when they found out my name was at the top, you know, they just gave me a weird look, and I just, under my breath, I just said, "Praise the name of God." Um, so I was just really grateful. So this is a wonderful opportunity. But look, with great opportunities comes a lot of great stresses to it. So while I'm here, I'll actually put the party hat on. Make
Oh, there
Australia
you go.
great again.
There you
So yeah, look, I used to get involved with politics many years ago with one of our two major parties called the Liberal Party, but unfortunately, our two major parties have unfortunately become a part of this globalist agenda. And now I started to notice with my line of work and my business, I was noticing a lot of families were becoming homeless. So over 10,000 Australians become homeless each month. Add, you know,
go.
to, and a lot of Australian businesses can't run a business in Australia, so they have to move onto another country where they can afford it. We're one of the highest taxed countries in the world. We should be the richest nation in the world. So unfortunately, we have a lot of our politicians being bought out by these globalists, and unfortunately, a lot from China. And now we have a great chairman, Clive Palmer, that gentleman right there. Clive Palmer is just a very wealthy man, but always had the opinion to put Australia first. And so I had the opportunity from the party to get tapped on the shoulder. Hey, do you want to run? You're an everyday Australian that gets it. You're not a career politician. And so I had a look at the policies, and the top policies that I just loved was like slashing immigration by 80% because we do not have the infrastructure in America, in Australia. Eliminate government debt with a 15% licensing on our iron ore exports to China. That will pay off our $1 trillion debt in 9 years. Double fees for international students for study. Allow Australians to use a part of their super for a home deposit, which will ease the housing crisis with what we
Yeah,
have. Abolish net zero,
good.
and then feed 3.7 million households who are currently go hungry. Now, we are the only party that actually has common sense values, but also resolutions. And the number one thing, what we want to do is bring in a um, Doge program, and we need to oversee government spending. And there's been too many politicians being bought off, and no one's strong enough to stand up to the biggest manipulator of them all, to Australia, which is China. China is basically taking our iron ore 40 cents a ton. And then if you think about it, the iPhone that you're holding, we're basically paying China back, giving 1,000 times more for the metal
Yeah,
inside our iPhone. So that's why I'm strong, and decided to go in and run and send a message to Parliament, win or lose. It's been an absolute honour to serve this nation
yeah,
and my name out there. Um, but the biggest issue for me is that the fact that Australia has the most gold, the most iron ore, the
yeah,
most
right.
coal. And when you think about it, we should be the richest nation in the world. We should be a
Yes.
thriving nation. But we got these two leaders that just do not care. And they do not have Australians in interests at heart. We have a prime minister that is refusing to talk to his own Australian people, and people are hurting, people are struggling, and
So
so
Phil,
we, yeah,
you're really going through what we just went through in almost
yes.
every little detail, and I'm hoping that you see some things turning around as well. The race has been a little dirty so far, hasn't it?
Oh,
Um,
look, it has been, and there's been times where I've had random phone calls, and some things I'm actually not allowed to talk about.
yeah,
Um,
but let's
but
just say it got a lot worse than random phone calls.
It
Yeah.
got a lot worse.
Yes.
But all I can say was, I am so grateful for the party that I am under. They look after you and they genuinely care, and things were, looked after, and you weren't alone. After going through that. But I think the worst things is getting those little phone calls saying, "Watch your back," and
Yeah.
then at first it was a bit like, oh, this is uncomfortable. But now I started to realize, when I started getting more of those calls, I'll just say, "Oh, okay, would you like a free Travel to Patriot hats?"
Yeah.
And they don't know what to say, so
And
they
dude,
hang up. Uh,
and who wouldn't want, I'm jealous, by the way. I love that hat. That's awesome.
well,
I
I'll send you one.
thank you. I think obviously they ought to take you up on that.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah. Well, Phil, this is a very different thing for you. You've always had obviously strong opinions on what's going on in the world politically. You and I have talked
Yes.
about those things for years. But I'm just so proud of you that you've stepped in the ring and started to fight. And I think all of us just wish you the best in what you're doing. And there's a fight ahead, but it's a winnable fight. And I think we just went through that. Well, we're still going
Absolutely.
through that. We're still trying to win, but we've won in so many ways, and we still have more to go. And it's not about the politicians themselves. It's not about what party you're with. It's really about, like you said, common sense, and it's really a spiritual battle in the
It
end.
really is.
It's not political, and
No, it's not.
it's a fight between good and evil. It's a fight between God and Satan. And the more I watch things on a global level, uh, the the more aware I am of just how spiritual it is. So, the Bible talks about that, and it says that there are spiritual forces all around us that
Absolutely.
we are not of this world, that Satan is the ruler of the world, and we shouldn't be surprised when things start going in that direction, should we? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. But the good thing about this situation is it's given me a lot of strength and understanding.
Yes,
And there's been times where I felt like, what's going on? But the moment when we hurt is the moment when we need to turn to God. But in all times when we're feeling blessed, we turn to God. But I've noticed during this election, there are a lot of people that aren't listening, and I am starting to notice a lot more Australians are beginning to listen and go, I can't vote for these two major parties anymore because I've lost my home, I lost everything. And
yes,
people will only listen when they've out of lost something, or
yeah,
just yeah,
true.
it's feeling
That
lost
was
and
true here
hurt.
too. Yes,
And so I think, unfortunately, in society, people will begin to listen when they've been hurt and broken, and that's when they come. And like that's what's happened in America.
yeah,
You had a president that, in my opinion, wasn't even the president. A man that couldn't even walk properly. People were hurt. You look at how the nation was being treated. Immigration was just blown out of control. And that's the same thing what's happening here. You have immigration, like we're not against immigration. No country is against immigration, but
right.
we need to have controlled immigration.
People need
That's
to
why,
be vetted. Yes,
yeah, and that's why my party said we need to slash immigration by 80%. We need to recover. It's
yeah,
I had a party called the Greens Party, and one of the volunteers said, how does it feel to know that your party's a racist party by immigration? I said, one, I'm not a racist person. I'm married into a family that is a different culture, and they
yeah,
came from another country. And I said, it's just like my business. If I just started employing at least, let's say, 100 people, do you think I'll have the capacity to give them the work? No, no, that's not how it works. And
hmm, yeah, that's right.
oh,
We've lost your sound again. Yeah, I'm not sure. We can't hear you for whatever reason. I'm not sure. You cut out for a minute, you froze, and then the sound was gone. So I'm not sure why. John, what do you think? I'm not sure why that's happening, but it is. Okay. Well, we'll come back with him in just a minute. Right ahead, folks, we have Gary with us. And Gary will be representing this great band, Fear Not. Good, looking forward to talking with him. Some great things are happening with
mm.
Fear Not. And so, folks, don't go anywhere. I'll be back with Phil Courtis, with Gary, in just a minute. Stay right there. Hello, my friends. I hope to see you this year at the Loud and Proud Festival. I'm going to be there along with a lot of great bands and a lot of great people. Great fellowship, great music, great time together. Loud and Proud Festival coming up. And welcome back to the show. I'm excited to have Gary Hanson on with us today. And Gary, as you know, is from Fear Not. Gary, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pastor Bob.
Those old pictures and that ad that he was just playing. And it's amazing to me, those of us that have been around for a long time, that we haven't changed a bit, have we?
No, not a bit. The time machine.
Yeah. Well, you met Phil.
And Phil.
Phil and
Good night, Gary. How's it going?
It's amazing what you're doing out there.
No, thank you. I appreciate it.
Proud of you. I'm proud of your stance. I'm proud of your dedication. And I know it's not easy. I have a friend, really good friend, Dave Randleman. He's been running for school board in St. Louis. He's a Immortal Fest family guy that comes every year. And man, he goes through it, and he's lost every time, but he keeps feeling like God just needs him to get the message out there. So he spends his all his free time and out there just campaigning on knowing that the possibility is in God's hands only. And
Exactly.
And he has no qualms about doing it. He's an amazing guy. I'd love for you guys to hook up and talk someday. Very eloquent.
Absolutely.
There's another guy in Australia that's a friend of Fear Not. His name is Samuel Dingle. I would love to pass his. He's an amazing writer. He's an amazing. He writes reviews, and he's just such an eloquent writer that I would love to hook you up with him too. But it's great to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Pastor Bob. I played in concerts. We've played in concerts where thousands of people are there, and you're going on stage. I get more butterflies coming on the show than I'm like. I don't feel like I'm gonna throw up. So anyway, if I stumble a little bit, it's just you guys are it's so powerful. I guess I just get nervous. I don't know why.
Well, dude, you're awesome, and I appreciate it. So, Gary, I want to talk a little bit about the history of Fear Not, and just some of the things that how the band started and its focus and things that are going on now. And Phil, if you have questions, also jump right in there.
Absolutely.
Gary. And Gary, it's about time for a visit again. We haven't seen you here for a while.
You know what, Pastor Bob? I got a gig. I'm an audio engineer besides being a drummer, and I got a gig with a dance company that does. You ever watch Dance Moms?
Yeah.
That show. Well, I got a gig with a company that puts those productions on, and they're all over the country, and they start on Thursday and they end on Sunday. So I fly out Thursday and I fly home Monday. So I've been doing that for like 15 years.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and it really supplements the
I totally
other things I have going. So that's what I've been doing on the weekend. So, and this weekend it's my mom's 85th birthday. So I'm flying.
Happy birthday.
As soon as we get off here, I'm jumping on a plane. I'm going to California, and we're going to celebrate her 85th birthday.
Wow.
Well, I keep up with the band. Chris, the guitar player for Fear Not, Chris Sorensen, is actually on our worship team here as well at Sanctuary. So he kind of keeps me up a little bit in what's going on with the band. Chris has been with Sanctuary for 38 years now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a long time. Tell me, how old is the band and how did the band get started?
Wow. You would have to ask that, huh? Well, I was just 3 or 4 years old. No, just kidding. We got together, I believe the original Fear Not. I mean, the original Carnation was Love Life before Fear Not, and that
Yes.
was in 1986.
Yeah.
That was Larry and I and Rod, and then we had another guitar player, Darren Eby, and um, that went on. And then when Darren left the band, we're still Love Life. Chris, we met at the NAMM show. I don't, you know what the NAMM show is, obviously, you guys. Anyway, long story. We met Chris at the NAMM show. He wasn't that much into Love Life because it was kind of, he was coming. The whole hair scene was coming. You know, the it was kind of coming around. And Chris was more of a bluesier guy.
Yeah.
And we said, "Hey, Chris, you got to listen to our new demo. We've changed our style a little bit. Here you go." So he was like, "Okay, I'm in." So that was about
Awesome.
1991.
Yeah. And that
we
was
started.
after he had Red Sea, wasn't it? Red Sea
No,
was
no, 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 no. That was before Red Sea. It was before Red Sea.
Okay.
So basically, what happened is Chris got in the band. We started playing, 3 nights a week downtown in Sunset Strip in Hollywood and Orange County. Any gig we could possibly get. We had a place called Fran's Farm. It was a chicken coop that the band surrendered. Do you remember them, Pastor Bob?
Yes.
Jamie Wallum and Charlie Johnson and Mike Alton and
Yes.
Dave Massey. They had a place, a chicken coop, and I went in and I was doing record stores back and then, remodeling and installing sound systems, and I got a bunch of like leftover stuff from a record store. We fixed that place up, mirrors, and we had a good sound system. Well, they broke up and we took over the studio, and Chris and we were together 5 to 7 nights a week. We practiced every night.
Awesome.
We worked on that. We at that time Larry was thinking about moving to just being the lead singer, and we got a gentleman named Michael Cutting, who I'm sure you guys are all familiar with.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Sure.
Michael Cutting joined the band, and we had a song that we recorded called "Fear No Evil,"
Mm-hmm.
and that song, Michael ended up leaving, rejoining Holy Soldier, and that song just stuck with us. And we said, "How about if we just call ourselves Fear Not?" So we call ourselves Fear Not, and we kept going on and started playing shows with Guardian, and Guardian introduced us to the Elefante brothers, and that was 35 years ago, I believe, right in that area. 1990, I think 1993 is when the Fear Not album came out. So then Chris did Red Sea, moved to Nashville, deserted us. We were at that time, there was no social media, there was no
there wasn't anything like that. Yeah.
And we didn't really have the ability to be a what do they call it, GUB, geographically undesirable band. So we got another guitar player and kept going, and the record label wanted us all to move to Nashville, and at the time it just wasn't feasible for all of us financially. And family, my family was all in California. Larry's moved to Oklahoma because his family was there, and Rod's still in California. So long story, that took a 23-year hiatus. And the coolest thing is when we started, Larry and I started talking again, there was a thing called Rocklahoma. And Larry had done some records with some other people, Robert Sweet being one of them from Striper, and he was still kind of semi in the scene. All of us had kept our chops and playing, and I was a worship pastor for a long time, and so we all kept our musical ties. And Chris, he played with everybody, and so basically we had this, we started seeing our record on eBay and for like $130, and we're thinking, wow, people really like us. And we were reading all these YouTube reviews. Pastor Bob, you're actually introducing us at the Cornerstone, and that video has got thousands and thousands of views. So long story short, we had this group from Oklahoma City, this group of hardcore Fear Not fans, Brad Buell, Che Fitzgerald, and Mike, and you know, a few people that just really love the band, and they, I don't know what they did. They pitched in together and they approached Larry, and Larry and him started hanging out, and they said, "Hey, we want Fear Not back together." And Larry said, "Wow, they live here and there." They go, "We'll bring them out." So they flew us out, got us a hotel, set up their youth room at their church with all the gear we needed, and we just had a weekend. And we literally got in the car at the airport, and it was like no time had passed. We just loved each other so much, and it was just like, wow, this is so cool. So from there, we realized that, with Larry's medical issues, he could sing, he could make an album, but he couldn't really do an hour long set.
Yeah.
Physically. And so from that rehearsal, the bond was made, the idea was set, and Larry had met Eddie, who's our lead singer, Eddie Green, through his motorcycle ministry that he's involved with. And he said, "I got a guy." And so he approached Eddie and gave Eddie a demo that he'd done and said, "Eddie, put some vocals on this." He did it. We fell in love. We didn't meet until we went into the studio to record the EP. So that's kind of the history in a nutshell.
I love that. And
Yeah.
what great
Wow.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good
just amazing.
and good history.
Yeah, it's amazing. There was never any animosity in the band. There was never any. We just separated. And something I can say about God and what I realized when we, finally said, okay, Larry moved to Oklahoma, Rod and I are in California. Chris, the success that in life that we all had with our kids and with our families and with our careers and even with our music and our ministries. Larry was a worship leader. I was a worship leader. Rod played on worship teams, the whole time. Rod went to Musicians Institute and got his degree from there. And, we just went on to just do successful, good lives. Our marriages are all good. And I'm going on 34 years of marriage. So I got married during that time of the band. Rod got married at the time of the band. Larry's been married since he was 12, I think. But so the success, and so it wasn't a bad thing. It just happened. You can always go back in hindsight and say, well, gosh, how popular would we be if we stayed together 20 years? Well, we might not be together. We might hate each other. We might, we just kind of did what God had called us to do, and at that time was take a break. But He also showed us, hey, for such a time as this, we have a private plan for you.
And it's been amazing how many times God has used you guys internationally in so many areas, so many ways. It's just been awesome. And Gary, it's a cool thing to be in a band, and it's a cool thing to minister to people on stage and to be excellent at in your band and in your particular instrument. But it's something else when you see the hand of God orchestrating every little tiny detail as you go. And that's definitely.
Yeah, I can tell you a great story. We had a manager, he recently passed away. I don't know if you remember Randy Brewer.
Yes.
Brewer,
yes.
he managed tons of bands out, on the Hollywood days. And he told us one time, he said, tour 2000. He said, do your best for God, And
I love
the time that we got kind of discovered, it was a Tuesday night. It was a little dive club. It used to be a strip club in Orange County. They turned it into a rock and roll club. We went there, and there was 6 people in the crowd, and that's the night we got the Tour 2000 speech, and we were like, oh God, we got to work tomorrow. What are we doing? And then we just got together and said, God, what? And he's like, put on a show. So we went out, we did it, and that was our first record deal we got.
Well,
Wow.
and honestly, Gary, I think the true test of a band isn't isn't one you can do with 6,000 people. It's what you can do with 6.
Yeah, we did a show one time.
Yes.
You remember you like stories, Bob? So I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
You remember the donut? I got 2 stories. Remember the Donut Man ministry?
Yeah.
So we got called by a church, a big church out in the San Fernando Valley, and they said, "Hey, the Donuts Man's going to be here. We want you guys to play too." So we're thinking, "Oh, cool, we're opening up for the Donut Man," because he was popular back then, and it was a big church, and we're thinking this is going to be cool. So we, rented a truck. They said, "Well, you should probably bring your own sound system." I think, okay, that's whatever. So we rented lights and big truck, and went out there into the valley. We got there nice and early. We were famous for being early, and still are, because it just helps. So we get there and we walk in this church, and it's like, whoa, this is going to be so cool. And so we pull in, and we're just kind of standing around, and the guy comes up, are you the band? And we're like, yeah. He goes, okay, you guys are playing up there. We're like, what? Yeah, you guys are playing for the youth upstairs. So
really?
we weren't playing with the Donut Man in the main sanctuary. We were playing for the youth group upstairs in a multi-purpose room that the walls divide, that they open up. So we had to drag all our gear upstairs.
Wow.
Into the youth room, set up the lights, set up everything. And we were like, okay, let's do it. So we did it. And like a quarter of the kids there raised their hand for salvation that night. So
that's awesome.
So
you
it was
know what God's going to do.
So
Gary, John is suggesting to me that you disconnect and reconnect to improve your picture. So if you want to take a minute to do that, why don't you?
Sure. I don't know how to do that, but I'll figure it out.
Then just come back and we'll jump back in.
Okay.
So we've got several friends that have joined us here on the podcast. I saw that Brian Kemper is here. Brian, is the head of Rock for Life, and it's a pro-life group, one of the largest ones here in the United States. He's from Sanctuary. Brian will also be speaking a little bit at the Immortal Fest. He'll be speaking at our 40th anniversary, and we're excited to have him do that. And also, Curtis, Phil, I'm seeing some old faces here also. Not that they're old, but Adrian is here. Adrian's
nice.
From our church in California for, 35, 40 years ago.
Oh, that's incredible.
It is. It's always nice to see people from the old days. All right, he's back.
He's back.
I think we have a better picture this time. There we go.
Cool. So my one more story I'll tell you.
It's all right.
Is recently, a gig in Texas, guy called us out. It was Christmas time-ish actually, and we were thinking, okay, we'll go. And great lineup, great bands out there. And we get there, most beautiful place you ever seen on a lake, but it's 3 days before Christmas, and so we're thinking, what's the turnout? Well, we got to the show, and literally the show was 10, the bands, the crew, the vendors, maybe 15, 20 people, same kind of thing. We did the show. It was great. We had actually Steve Braun with us singing that because Eddie was not able to make it, and he had hurt himself. So anyway, long story short, we get done playing, and Che, one of our good friends, was out there, and he says, hey, this lady would like you guys to pray for her. And she had a list of it. She had cancer. She had stomach issues. She just had these, she was basically, the doctors had said, get your affairs in order. But she was amazing. She was just like loving on us. And she's like, you guys are going to pray for me and I'm going to get healed. And so,
wow.
So we laid hands on her and we prayed, and we came back a week later. We got a email from her that her doctor gave her basically a clean bill of health.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow. That's incredible.
So that's another one of those things where, you drive all this way, you do a show, you think that's why you're going, and you find out that's not why you're going. You're going to pray for this person who God has assigned you to touch. and it's changing my life. It's this whole new thing that we're doing. Immortal Fest, we prayed for someone. I mean, we really, after we got off the stage on Immortal Fest last year, we literally spent 30 or 40 minutes walking around the crowd, laying hands on people and praying. I mean, that's more of our ministry than anything, is praying for people after the show, before the show, whether it's salvation. If we're in the Christian, metal scene, then those people are hurting sometimes, and they need prayer, and they need love, and they need fellowship. So it's not all just about salvation. It's about love and family. It's like, we are metal, we are family, and that is that is amazing. And so the fact that Bob's doing that and promoting that still after 40 years is just, it's off the hook.
Yeah. It doesn't get old. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So Phil, we've got to get you to Immortal Fest one of these.
I definitely need to go, Bob. That's a goal of mine, to get up there. Yeah. And Gary, your stories are just incredible, and it just sort of reminds me of with what you went through in the youth group. Like, there's certain things with what I'm going through at the moment. I'm like, there's not enough people, find volunteers. But at the end of the day, there was an opportunity where I got to share my story while I got into, politics, and it actually helped me out even further. And God works in mysterious ways. Yes. Sometimes it's just not about the numbers. Like, I heard a singer the other day said, he got upset, because his friends were saying, "Oh, you only have 50,000, listens on your iTunes, or I think, when you download the app and and your fans listen," and apparently it's not a lot. But one day he actually went to a concert and there was 50,000 people there, and he was like, what? So, the numbers may seem small, but that was amazing to think, wow, all those people are listening to my music. And it's just like my situation. Look, I don't have all the volunteers in the world, but God gave me the opportunity to go, hey, there's another political party that is prepared to hand out my how to vote cards, and I can do the same thing. And then there's a way that you can conduct yourself. God allows us to open up and work with others so we can grow, not just with him, but with others. It's just incredible.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome. What a great way to serve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I just noticed Larry Worley's on board here. He said, "Hi, Larry." He's our founder.
I saw that.
Yeah. He's at work. See, good morning, Larry.
Yes.
So
folks, if you have any questions for Gary, shoot them to us. We'd like to have your questions answered. After all of these years of Fear Not, I'm sure people have stories too to share. So Larry says, Gary, you just finished drum track on the upcoming EP. How was the process done, since there's such a distance issue? A lot of people have that question, Gary. How do you put an album together over the internet, and how well does that work?
See the studio? We all have one of these. Yeah. We all have a studio, home studio. I just put this drum studio together recently, and basically I do the tracks. Larry will basically write the basic tune, or Chris will come up with an idea. The idea goes out. Larry puts a raw track together and sends it to our producer, who's our sixth member. His name is Kyle Simpson. Amazing guy, amazing producer, great friend. He takes it and puts together a song, sends it out to us. We all, absent our parts, and I'll get a track that'll have, scratch of basically a scratch track, if you guys know what that is. And we record it. I record it here in my drum studio. Larry has a studio, Fear Not Studios in Broken Arrow. Chris will fly out to Larry's studio, and they have a magic that when they're together, that's just it's amazing
Wow.
the things that they
That's
come
good
up with.
Yes.
And Eddie will come into. Eddie lives in Tulsa, which is right by Broken Arrow. Eddie will come in, and then the tracks, same thing, go to Rod, and Rod will do his thing, and Kyle puts his, we call it Kyle Candy, and he'll put, his keyboards or any type of layered guitars and whatever, and then it basically comes together as a basically over online effort.
I think that's awesome, dude.
That's incredible.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the comments just said that Fear Not sounds like the merger of Molly Hatchet and Megadeth. That's an interesting merger.
I've heard that recently. I heard that.
But I get it. I get it.
Yeah. If you're old enough to know who Molly Hatchet is,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, the Molly Hatchet with a little more of the bluesy kind of old heavy rock and roll riffs, and the Megadeth with a little more of the metal side.
Well,
So, yeah.
you look at it like this. Rod, Larry, and I came out of, Sunset Strip 1980.
Yeah, right.
That whole hair metal thing, and then Chris had that in him to do, but he's always been a blues guy, and he puts that slide in there, and and then Eddie came out of a band called Even the Dogs, which was basically a hardcore thrash band with, I don't know the words for those bands, but he was basically a growler, but he's also a great singer. So we have growling, we have singing, Larry's an amazing singer, so the harmonies are, and even Rod and Chris and I, we all sing, the whole band sings. So it's just that whole, and when we got back together, one of the things that Larry told all of us is no more chains, no more, and the producer's on board with everything. He doesn't try to, he takes what we give him and makes it better, but he doesn't tell us what to give him. And that's the cool thing. So we've all said, and everybody says, just be you, do you, don't hold back. If you feel like playing this, play it, and there's been very little critique or negativity. It's just been, wow, I love that, and it has given us that signature, because this is who we are. We're not trying to be Soundgarden. We're not trying to be Molly Hatchet. We're trying to be Fear Not. And we're old enough that I guess we've earned it, to be ourselves.
But and it's cool that he's comparing you to those two bands in particular, because those two bands in their old genre are the cream of the crop. So that's a huge compliment.
And I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Phil, do you have any roots in any of the old rock and roll, the blues rock, the blues metal, any of that?
Look, I grew up with all that, mainly from my oldest brother David, who you've met. I was actually going through a little bit the other day. I found some old cassettes in my garage, so I've still got to go through them.
Yeah. So you come from, how many siblings do you have?
I'm the youngest of 10.
Youngest of 10. That's a pretty good sized family. So you heard a lot of different kinds of music then.
Yeah, well, yes, well and truly, but I think the most that everybody listens to in the family is Christian metal.
Yeah. Awesome. So you had the right upbringing then. That's good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was raised right. Yeah. I actually got a question for Gary. So whenever you went on the road with the band, right? Is there any certain tradition that you always have to do whenever you're on the road, or it's just that one specific thing?
We're live on Facebook. I don't know if I can. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, the guys, they love to eat sushi, so they torture me because I hate sushi. It's always, let's go have sushi. And I'm like, oh God. So we do that. We used to have these weird things we would do, but like we would do a $5 challenge. So
They're pretty good.
you do something gross, and then everybody puts $5 on the table. Once you're in, you have to be in. So the next person says, well, $5 or $2 I'll do this, and so everyone has to put $2 in. We were on playing a little 3-day thing, and we were all broke. We came home with nothing, and so the guy that was playing, one of the guys playing with us at the time, said it was the last day, and he's like, $10, and we all threw in like every piece of food we had left on our table in a bowl of soup, and then mixed it up, and then our manager at the time took a piece of gum from under the table.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
And he said, okay, I gotta go to the bathroom first. He went in, and we just doctored that thing with hot sauce and everything, and he chewed up that piece of gum. So,
that's so awesome.
He walked away with like $70. So he's the only one that made money on the tour.
Oh, well, there you go.
You can get older, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're growing up, does it?
No.
Yeah, that's still.
We still cut up. We still have fun. We go to bed early, but we still get our fun in.
Yeah. When I still catch up with my friends, after a while, they always get me to, give their other mates a prank call, or like whoever loses the coin toss, they always go, oh, Phil, do that weird, awkward sound. I'm like, yeah, g'day, mate, how's it going? And just keep calling him, and they just get uncomfortable. And I'll be like, no, my name's Glenn Miller, and I'm just, I think we have a tradition once a year where we call this random guy, just say, mate, it's been 2 years, where's me mulch? And we know who he is. He's a really nice guy, our friend's dad, and he's so nice about it, going, mate, it's been like every year, like I don't have anything. It's it's good to have that tradition.
Yeah, I guess so. And Phil, you're married, you're a father of 2 kids, and
yes,
yeah, you're still growing up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This guy Barry Morrison, and actually Ray Parr keeps the hottest gummy bear challenge. Barry, I'm out. Peace.
I've tried that one actually.
I don't do. I mean, I can eat spicy food and I enjoy it, but when it gets past 50% into that, no. There's a good story, Barry. I met with our manager and one other guy. First time I ever ate Chinese food. I was literally a plain hamburger guy until I was in my late 20s, and they took me and they said, "Oh, we'll have the Kung Pao chicken." I'm like, "Oh, cool, I like that." Mm-hmm. So I saw these little black things in there, and I thought they were green beans. I said, "What are they?" "Oh, they're green beans." So I ate one of those and literally almost went to the hospital. So,
wow,
that's awesome.
Talking about the hot gummy bear, my friend actually bought a packet of gummy bears, and we actually bought a packet of world's hottest gummy bear, and we added it in.
Oh no, you did not.
Gummy bears, because he's the kind of friend that would. This was during a Christian youth camp, and he would always prank us and just do something silly, and we're like, we have to get him back, and we thought about it. We were like, there's gummy bears, and we're like, oh, the hottest gummy bear in the world. So we added it to his gummy bear pack, and so we were driving home, and we're on the bus, and you need milk to calm down, and then we were like, oh, we timed this wrong. He ate it, and then he was like just screaming, and the bus drivers just telling him, shut up, I'm here to take you home, just shut
up. Oh, that's awful. You're a bad person.
Well, Gary, I don't want to run out of time before we talk about some new music that's coming out. You
Oh, cool,
you
cool.
did a great remix of Voluntary Madness that is awesome. And people remember the old song. They're going to be excited to hear the new one. You've got another new single out. The new album is on the way. And talk about the new music just for a minute.
So, Voluntary Madness was a remix. It's out now. On Saturday this week, the 2nd, our first song off the EP that's coming out just prior to Immortal Fest. It's called Crashing Down, and super excited. Like the new songs, I just got the final mix for this one of the songs I just finished, and I listened to it like 5 times. It gave me chills. I mean, it's the Eddie writes lyrics from a dark place, I guess you'd say, showing the lightness to the dark, and
Yeah.
And it's just it's so the lyrics are so powerful. The songs were I would say heavier than we have been. It's kind of like I guess it's like that mix of Molly Hatchet and Megadeth. No,
Yeah, right.
But no, it's. I think people are the old fans who like the first stuff we did are gonna love it because it has that vibe, but with new production, like I say, freedom of expression on our part. Eddie sounds amazing. Chris is off the hook. The band's I think the band's in top form right now.
Yeah, I do too.
We're excited about it. We can't wait to hear what people, what it does. We felt like we have a new record deal too with Resurrection Records, and it's a co-deal with Rocks Records and Resurrection, which is kind of interesting. Resurrection is more of a promotional entity.
Yes.
And Rocks Records does the physical product, and they also promote well too. But that was our original label we've been on for the past 5 years, and it's exciting because we have a lot more support. We have a lot of fans. Like Phil was saying, we just hit on our TuneCore, which is our publishing. We just hit 1 million streams.
That's awesome.
That qualifies us for this special.
Good. Wow.
Yeah, here it is. And this is actually live stream. This is actually Spotify, where it's 1.52 million.
Great.
So
that's incredible.
That's huge.
So we're hoping that, with that momentum and the quality of the music and the ministry.
Yes.
We're hoping to get out and play more and be able to do what we do. We all still work. We all still have our lives and families to care for first, but our ministry is growing, and we're really looking to go to Australia and Europe and South America this year. We're hoping. Hey, we're ready, Bob, and we're ready to do a sanctuary gathering gig this year.
Yeah,
I'm throwing out hints. Yeah. And we just want to get out and play. But one of the things that God has put on my heart, and I'll share this and I'll be quiet, is He's really put on my heart that we have always been kind of on the fringe of the Christian. We aren't CCM, we aren't heavy metal, so we are metal enough to be part of the family, of course. But we've kind of always felt like we belong in the clubs. We belong. That's where we started. That's where we had our ministry. We belong.
Yes.
Playing. So what we've done this year already is we have bought on to a couple of shows with some popular secular bands, which is what you have to do in order to break into that scene. And what we're hoping to do is we've become a nonprofit, which is a 501(c), which is, we don't make any money. We never will. We don't want money. We don't come home with money. Money is a tool for us to go out and minister. That's all it is for us. Record sales means people are getting healed, changed, saved, it ministered to, all that stuff. So what we're hoping to do is we're hoping to put together a presentation that we can take to the Christian churches and and present the fact that in order for us to get out into it's a missionary field. We want to become missionaries that go into the world, and in order to do that, we need travel money. We need,
Yes.
eventually that could pay off to where we can be donating to other bands and other Christian ministries. But at this point, where it's in the infantile stages, even after 30 years, we still don't. And that's another thing too, is I think sometimes in the Christian, I think because we've been around so long, people don't respond to us because they think, oh, these guys are going to be $1 million to come out and play. And we're not. We just want to break even, and it's not selling ourselves short. It's just, hey, we want to go out into the world, and if that person's contemplating suicide, we want to be able the one, or if that's an alcoholic that's drinking, voluntary madness might minister to that guy, and he might see, hey, I'm voluntarily killing myself with this drug. And I think that it's just where our hearts are, is to go into the world. And
I love that.
And I don't know how that's going to fly, but I think I'm hoping that we can do, like, missionary week at church. Hey, here's a new missionary, that churches would take
Yes.
on. Fear not as a
Metal
ministry.
missionaries. Yes, absolutely. Well, I
So
think that's coming. In fact, I see the groundwork being laid. And I think you're one of many who have that vision, and I think it's about to happen. Well, guys, we're out of time. It's been so great having both of you here today. And Gary, say hello to Suzanne, your wife, for me.
I will.
And Phil, say hello to your wife for me as well.
Well,
And hug those kids for me. And folks, thank you for joining us today. We are here every single Wednesday morning. Lots of good things coming up. We'll let you know what we have in store. But in the meantime, don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.